subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss another video of Bhakti Charu Swami.
Who had come here earlier, before? How many of you have come here before? How many of you are coming here for the first time? Okay. And how is the experience? Actually, Mayapur has changed so much. I joined here in Mayapur, let me see, almost 43 years, 42 years ago. And I came here one evening and I came to Krishnanagar by train. Then from there I took a bus that came to the other side of the river Jalangi. You will see here Mayapur is in a confluence of two rivers. One is Ganga and the other is Jalangi. Jalangi is actually Saraswati. Jalam means water. And Gir is another name of, Gir means speech, voice. You are familiar, Ruddha Badanam Gadgada Ruddhaya Gira. What's the meaning of the word Gira? Voice. Ruddhaya Gira, my voice is choked. Shikshashtakam. So, Saraswati, another name of Saraswati is Bak Devi. Bak means speech. It also means wisdom and learning. So Jalangir is actually the name of the river Saraswati. In Allahabad, in the confluence, Saraswati disappeared. Saraswati went underground. The confluence is only of Ganga and Jamuna. But here the Saraswati manifested in the confluence. Anyway, so I came to the other side. Then I crossed the river with a boat, small river. And then I came, there was, I remember, one or two tea stalls at the river bank. And there were one or two rickshaws. And that was Mayapur those days. So I took one of the rickshaws and came to the temple here. And the structure here was just by the side of the gate. There was, by the way, that big gate was already there with a big structure. And left-hand side, there is a hut. That is the hut where Srila Prabhupada stayed when he came here. And it is now known as Prabhupada's Bhajan Kutir, Prabhupada's place of worship and meditation. And then there was a boundary wall. And one side was a wall, and on this side, along the wall, there were many, many rooms. Now those rooms, if you go there, you'll see they are the shops. All these shops. Those rooms were actually kind of ashram. And there was only one building that is called the Lotus Building. And on the ground floor of that building was the temple. And the deities were small Radha Madhav deities. But there were, when I arrived here, the evening kirtan was going on. Evening arati was going on. And it was such a wonderful sight, because the temple was full with devotees, and they were dancing ecstatically. And all of them practically were either Americans or Europeans. And then I spoke to someone, and he arranged a room for me in that wall, by that wall. So, and then I kept my thing, and then they told me that there's going to be a Bhagavad Gita class. So I just kept my thing and went back to the temple. The Bhagavad Gita class was upstairs. How many of you know where the Lotus building is? Which one is the Lotus building? Okay, you saw the temple, right? The temple is between two buildings. One is on the right-hand side of the temple, the other is on the left-hand side. The left-hand side building is known as Lotus building. And the right-hand side building, which is 5-story, is known as Conch building. So, Conch building was not there at that time. The Lotus building was the only building here. As I said, downstairs was the temple, and now that place has turned into the exhibit. And okay, so the upstairs on the first floor of that building, there was a hall, kind of large room, and so the class was there. So I attended the class, and the class was given by a Canadian devotee who is known now as Bhakti Raghav Maharaj. How many of you know Bhakti Raghav Maharaj? Good. So he was at that time a brahmachari. His name was Raghav Pandit, last brahmachari. And Raghav Pandit Prabhu gave the class. And I was so impressed. Like here, non-Indian, a Canadian, is giving a class in Bhagavad Gita, and he's explaining it so wonderfully. And he was speaking, reciting the verses from Bhagavad Gita. It sounded like he knows the entire Bhagavad Gita by heart. And so it was very impressive. And then after that, whoever I was talking to, he was asking me, why don't you stay here? Why don't you join us? And of course they didn't know that I was almost half prepared, because I read the Nectar of Devotion and I already made up my mind. Only thing is that at that time Srila Prabhupada was in America. So I thought until Srila Prabhupada came back to India, I would visit the places where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his pastimes and Krishna performed his pastimes. So thinking that, the first place I came to was Mayapur. I thought, I'll stay in Mayapur for 2-3 days, and then I'll visit the places of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes here. And because I was already reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, and so I was getting to know about, and yeah, anyway, so I had a vague understanding of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. I thought that I would visit those places and then I would go to Vrindavan. But in Mayapur, like the devotees started to ask me, why don't you join? Stay here, be with us. And mind you, those days, it was all Americans and Europeans. I was about to say all whites. And no brown. So I know, like it was those days, the Indians were a rare commodity here. So anyway, that night I went and they served me prasad, and that I found the prasad was so delicious. And then I went to grave. I shaved up my head, and I took to his suggestion, why don't you give it a try for some time? And I thought, okay, I'll give it a try for 2 months. And within the 2 months, my hair will grow. If I don't like it, then I can go back, my hair will grow. All this while, everyone was asking me, why don't I join? Why didn't I join? And now when they saw me shaved up, I got a pair of dhoti and kurta, dressed up in dhoti kurta, put my old clothes in Ganga to get swept away. And so when they saw me shaved up, dressed in dhoti kurta, they were shocked. So that is how my spiritual life started. And I tell you that 2 months didn't come as yet. And so that is how it all started. And then I was introduced to Jayapataka Maharaj and Bhavananda Maharaj. So they were in one office. 2 of them were the co-directors at that time. They were the in charge of Mayapur. And both of them are very happy to see that I just shaved up and joined. And so that is how it started. And then, service. I got to know all the devotees, as I said, like they were all Americans and Europeans. And my roommate was one American devotee called Tirthapad Prabhu. And he was such a nice devotee. He really took care of me. And he used to speak about his brother. His brother also joined the movement, but he left. And often he used to tell me how bad he feels that his brother left the movement. And in a way, he started to treat me like his brother, as if he found his brother in me. And he was always with me, taking care of me, and my big problem was getting up in the morning. When I was at home, I think I can count in my fingers how many days I woke up at around 6 o'clock. My regular time for waking up was 8 o'clock, sometimes 9 o'clock. Not when I was traveling, like when I was at home, that was the thing. And even when I was traveling, I didn't really wake up so early. And getting up at 3:30 was something completely beyond me. And you know how it is, like when you're not used to getting up so early, that's the most difficult thing. So Tirthapad Prabhu used to get up and he used to wake me up, and then he used to go to take his bath. But then he used to come back and he used to see that I'm still in bed. So he would wake me up, but I still say, okay, I will. Another 5 minutes. So finally, he used to grab me by my arms and he used to start pulling me out of the bed. So I had to jump out. And the thing is, those days, we are staying in that wall, the rooms in the wall, and for our bath, there was some hand pumps. There was a cemented area. There were 4 or 5 hand pumps, so we used to pump the water in a bucket and take our bath. And the toilet was, some holes were dug on the ground, and there were some wooden planks on top. And that place was covered by some gunny bag, jute material. So, and that was not so difficult, Like, the difficulty was, the whole place was full of quite high grass. And Mayapur those days was full of snakes. That was a good way to remember Krishna. You really meaningfully chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra with each step, that it doesn't fall on the right place, doesn't... because the snakes, you see, the snakes generally don't bite you unless and until you step on that snake. And I'll tell you how many snakes were there. In 78, I'm talking about 76 when I joined. 78, there was a big flood. And the flood was so high that the water went up to the first floor of the buildings, the Lotus building. And so we all had to move up. And there also we had the 2 ends, we had bathrooms. And the bathroom had grills. And when you went to the bathroom, you'd see that in the grills there are snakes. They are also taking shelter from the flood. And there was one devotee, his name was Pradyumna, he was from Orissa. He was very brave. He alone killed 51 cobras during that time. And then when we got to know, when Bhavananda Maharaj and Jayapataka Maharaj got to know that, he stopped him. So you can well imagine how many snakes were there. And actually at the time of flood, they don't attack you, they don't harm you. There are snakes everywhere. Wherever there was something, like for example in that gate, the gate was practically full covered, and on the grills of the gate you see so many snakes. So we can well imagine, how Mayapur was those days. But it was very, very beautiful, very sweet. And I remember we used to have the Bhagavad Gita class in the evening, and the evening prasadam offering to the Radha Madhav, one of her god sister, she's actually from South Africa, South African white. She used to cook, she used to prepare sweets. Her name was Vrindavan Biharini. And she used to make such delicious sweet preparations. So the plates used to go up to where the sannyasis were. Bhavananda, like on the roof, Jayapataka Maharaj and Satadana. So they used to take the Mahaprasad. Then the Mahaprasad used to come down to us. And we used to have our share of the Mahaprasad at that time. And we used to have so many funny incidences. Like one day Mahaprasad was taking so long. So we were wondering what actually happened. So I and another devotee, maybe Turthapad, went up, and they said, no, we sent the plate long time ago. So Madhusavita Prabhu, who is the chairman of the GBC now, he was a brahmachari and he was the temple commander at that time. So he used to bring the plate. So then we went at the back of the building. I mean, not on that floor. There is a balcony all around, and we found Madhusavita Prabhu honoring Prasad. Often we remember those days. The other day we was remembering that, and Madhusavita Prabhu and I was laughing. So, anyway, those were the sweet memories of those days. And then service-wise, so there was one devotee, one of our godbrothers. Those days all were our godbrothers and godsisters. So Satvik Prabhu, he was taking care of the Goshala. So he inspired me to join the Goshala. And I also thought, oh, it's so wonderful to take care of the cows. So I went and told Bhavananda Maharaj that I want to serve in the Goshala. He said, no, that's not the service for you. I just accepted it. Then there was a Gurukul, and the principal of the Gurukul was one of our godbrothers, Hiranyagarbha Prabhu, and another devotee, American devotee, Nadia Prabhu. So they inspired me to join the Gurukul. So I went and told Bhavananda Maharaj that I wanted to join the Gurukul, to teach in the Gurukul. I thought that they were the most dignified service, like teaching and taking care of the cows. So when I told Bhavananda about that, he said, no, that's not the service for you. So I became so upset. I told him, do you think I'm good for nothing? So he raised his voice even louder than mine and said that when you see that these boys are waiting the bed at night, meaning those boys used to pass urine in their sleep, and it stinks, I'm sure you're going to run away from there. And he said a few things also about that, anyway. So then Bhavananda Maharaj gave me the service to assist Pancharatna Prabhu. Pancharatna Prabhu was taking care of the long building. That building, that is Chakra building. Chakra, the long building? Chakra. So, the construction of that building was going on at that time. And I was to assist him. And my service actually was to buy the materials or the materials that were coming, like stone chips and cement, so free them from the railway station and bring them. So they were quite interesting, huh? Like those days, practically every other day, or at least twice a week, I had to go to Calcutta. And in the morning we'd take a bus that would go to Krishnanagar station, and we'd take a train from Krishnanagar to Calcutta, and we used to spend time. And my another partner was a devotee called Bhumna Prabhu. He was Canadian, and Bhumna and I used to go together. And Bhumna knew all the sweet shops in Calcutta. And he knew which sweet shop is famous for which sweet. So we used to go and have our what should I say, sweet feast in the sweet shops. And one day I confessed to Srila Prabhupada that I go to Calcutta and sometimes I go to a sweet shop. I didn't tell about Bhumna. And Prabhupada was very kind. And so these are the sweet memories of the early days. And like there was nothing around here. But now Mayapur has become so crowded. But still you get the feel of Mayapur when you go to a little distance. Like there are some housing a little far away, and there you don't really feel that crowd and that, like clamor, that noise. It's just very, very quiet. I don't know what's Mayapur going to be like after another 10-20 years. But anyway, Prabhupada wanted the whole world to come here. Prabhupada wanted to have a city here, Krishna conscious city. Just like the Vatican for the Christians, Prabhupada wanted this Mayapur should be for the devotees. And of course, Vatican developed over 400-500 years with the patronage of the kings and queens. And it's undoubtedly very, very impressive. And nowadays, anyway, so hope someday Krishna consciousness will spread all over the world, and the whole world would like to come here to the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So tomorrow we'll be visiting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And actually Mahaprabhu's places of pastimes got lost. Soon after Mahaprabhu's disappearance pastimes, Mahaprabhu's teachings and Mahaprabhu's Dham got lost. Mahaprabhu's teachings got lost by some unscrupulous people who were claiming to be the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, they were introducing all kinds of abominable activities. And his Dham, this Dham of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, got lost. There was a big flood, and in that flood, all these places of Mahaprabhu's pastimes got lost. Similarly, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's places of Krishna's pastimes also were lost. Who retrieved those places of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan? The 6 Goswamis, mainly Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu assigned them with that responsibility to do 2 things. Write scriptures to establish Mahaprabhu's teachings, and to retrieve the dhams of Krishna's pastimes, the places of Krishna's pastimes. So just as the 6 Goswamis retrieved the places of Krishna's pastimes and established the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, similarly Bhakti Vinod Thakur came to revive Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings and the places of his pastimes. Bhakti Vinod Thakur was a magistrate at that time in the British government. And day after tomorrow we'll visit Bhakti Vinod Thakur's house on the other side of the river Jalangi. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur used to live there. He was a magistrate of Krishnanagar at that time. So one day, one evening, Bhakti Vinod Thakur was doing some work with his clerk, magisterial work, and his son was there. And all of a sudden Bhakti Vinod Thakur saw that this side of the river lit up, and he saw a transcendental city, a beautiful city with beautiful temple and many, many devotees. They are chanting and dancing in ecstasy. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur asked his clerk, "Did you see something?" The clerk said no. But he asked his son whether he saw something. He said yes. And he mentioned what Bhakti Vinod Thakur saw. So next morning, Bhakti Vinod Thakur came across the river, came to this place, and he found that that was actually a Muslim village. But in there, around that, close to that village, there was a neem tree. And around the neem tree, there were a forest of tulasi. So Muslims don't cultivate tulasi, and tulasi also doesn't grow in an unholy place. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur felt that this is where he actually saw, in that area, that vision. So at that time, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj was present. He was considered to be the crest jewel of the Vaishnava community. He was 140 years old at that time. He could not walk. He couldn't even stand. And one of his servants used to, if he had to go someplace, he used to make him sit on a basket, and he used to carry him on his head on that basket. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur approached Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and told him about his vision and the place. So Gaur Krishna, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj agreed to come. So he was brought in this place. And when he came to this place, the person who could not even stand or walk, he jumped up and started to dance, right, jumping high up with his arms raised, saying that this is the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. Ei to Mahaprabhu's Janmasthan, Ei to Mahaprabhu's Janmasthan. This is the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birth. So that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what is the prayer? How many of you remember? Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prayer says, Gauravir bhavo bhumestang nirdishta sajjana priya. The one who identified the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, nirdishta sajjana priya, and who is very, very dear to the saintly personalities. He is the Vaishnava Sarvabhauma, he is the monarch of the Vaishnava community. Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. So this is how Bhaktivinoda Thakur retrieved Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace. And then he started to find different places of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. And so tomorrow we'll go to see Mahaprabhu's birthplace, which is known as Jogopit. Jogopit means the center of Krishna's pastimes. Krishna's Dham, Vrindavan, is like 1,000-petaled lotus. Brahma Samhita is describing Sahasrapatra Kamalam Gokulakhang Mahatpadam Tatkinjalkang Tadangshanam Tatpatrani Shriyamapi. And so the spiritual sky, Gokul, is like 1,000-petaled lotus. And in the center of the lotus is the place where the Lord is situated with his eternal consort Srimati Radharani. In the middle of the lotus there is a whirl of the lotus. So that whirl is called Jogopit. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna are non-different. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Dham and Krishna's Dham are non-different. Navadvip and Vrindavan, there is no difference. So just as Navadvip has Mathura Mandal, this place has, Navadvip has Gaura Mandal. And in that lotus, the center part is Jogopit, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And it's like a lotus. In the first circle of the lotus, there are 8 petals. So, the whirl of the lotus and 8 petals make it 9. So that is Navadvip. Navadvip means 9 islands. The center of that island is Jogpit, and around that there are 8 petals or 8 islands. So tomorrow you'll visit Jogopit, and you will be visiting also Chaitanya Mat, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's temple that he established. He'll also see his residence there, and also his samadhi is there. In this we'll see different places of his Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Then I think he'll go to Chat Shiva Shangan and Advaita Bhavan. Next to Jogopit, Jagannath Mishra's house where Mahaprabhu appeared, close to that is the house of Shivas Thakur and Advaita Acharya. Remember, in Shivas Thakur's house, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started his Sankirtan every night. He used to have Sankirtan every night in that house. Anyway, they will tell you all those anecdotes that took place. Then he'll go to Chandkazi's Samadhi. And then you'll go to Jagannath temple. I am sure you are missing Lord Jagannath. So tomorrow you'll have his darshan again. So, happy parikrama. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. And should we, okay, there is some question you can ask? Does anybody have any question? Cordless nahi? Okay. So, okay, does anybody have any question? Let's see. Okay, Dial. Okay, you have a question.
When Lord Chaitanya's party was when doing the Muslim brought and then Chaitanya was quite agitated because Lord Chaitanya was quite angry because they brought the Vedanta and the Muslim Kasi. So he went to visit the Kasi. Lord Chaitanya has a discussion with the Kasi. The Kasi was a Muslim. So my question is, after the discussion with Lord Chaitanya, did King Kasi change to a devotee or he remains a Muslim?
He remained a Muslim, but he became a devotee. So that shows that anybody can be a devotee. Even Muslims can become devotee. In our society, there are so many devotees who are coming from Muslim background and became devotees. Christian backgrounds became devotees. Jewish background became devotees. So Chandkazi became a devotee. And you will see, became such devotee that when you go to Chandkazi's Samadhi, you will see that two trees are embracing each other. One is a neem tree and the other is a frangipanit tree. So, that is frangipanit tree in flowers, frangipanit flower in Bengali is called Golok Chapa. So this frangipanit tree is representing Chandkazi. And the neem tree is representing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in his Samadhi, he is embracing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And although Chandkazi did not become a devotee in that sense, but Chandkazi actually gave an instruction that no one in his family should oppose to Krishna consciousness movement. And if anyone opposes Krishna consciousness movement, then he will excommunicate him from the community, from the family. he'll reject him from the family. He won't be considered to be his successor, his descendant. And they're still there, Chatkaipi is his family, and they're still devotees. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
In Bangladesh, there is most of them are Muslim, so there is few Hindus and supporting them. Dayal Baranga Prabhu is supporting me to make Krishna consciousness, so I encourage Bangladesh devotees to carry on with Krishna consciousness.
Bangladesh devotees?
The deaf community in Bangladesh is supporting Krishna consciousness. So please, in contact with Dayal Baranga Prabhu, please give it Krishna consciousness.
Okay, so Dayal Viranga now go to Bangladesh and conquer Bangladesh. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Preach. Preach. And that's how the whole world will become Krishna conscious. Oh, okay, very good. Hare Krishna. Very good.
They're from Calcutta. They've never been to Gaudiya so they are going to go. It's going to be for them first time.
Very good. Very good. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. And it's so wonderful to see that Dayal Gauranga is preaching so effectively.
Today, a group of 15 deaf people came to join the party.
And Prem Pradeep, it's so nice of you that you're assisting him so nicely. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, yes.
Maharaj, can you tell some more details of those previous times when, as you were telling some of the pastimes which you
Well, that way, maybe I'll do it some other time, because once I start, and because one anecdote leads to another, one incident leads to another. It's already almost 7 o'clock. And so we can have some kirtan. Let me see if there is any more question. Yes?
My question is from Brahma Saika. What is the difference between Golok and Gokul?
Yeah. Golok is Krishna's pastimes that is taking place in the spiritual world, and Gokul is the manifestation of Krishna's past, the place of Krishna's pastimes on this planet, on this earth planet. They're not different. The extension of Golok is Gokul. Yes.
I had a very quick question. We understand that it takes a lot of good fortune and mercy to take birth in Dham. So when we see that in Mathura or in Navadvip there is a big Muslim community, how do we understand that?
Good. Taking birth is not so important. Living your body is important. So make it a point to live your body in the Dham. That is the most important thing. Anyway, taking birth in the Dham also has its benefit, but between Janma and Karma, what is more important? Janma is important or Karma? Or how one acts, that is important. One may be born in, some remote corner of this world. Doesn't matter. If his activities are right, he'll get the spiritual benefit. So many of our devotees have taken birth in America, Europe, Australia, Africa. They may be so far away from the holy dhams, but because their activities are Krishna conscious, they are making spiritual advancement. Okay. Thank you. And that's how Srila Prabhupada is creating the good fortune for everyone. Even if one is leaving his body away from the Dham, but when he is surrounded by the devotees, chanting the holy name, where will he go? The spiritual atmosphere is created by the devotees in this way. So that's Srila Prabhupada's mercy. We are seeing so many devotees are living their bodies in different parts of the world. But the way they live their bodies is so wonderful. That's a clear indication that, they made it. Yes?
আমরা ভাগবতামৃতে দেখেছিলাম যে গোপকুমার যখন ফিরে আসছেন তখন বৃন্দাবন অভিন্ন তিনি চিনতে পেরেছিলেন, কিন্তু এখন ধামের যেরকম পরিবর্তন হচ্ছে এটির সঙ্গে আমরা সামঞ্জস্যভাবে
যেমন চিন্ময় তত্ত্ব জড় দৃষ্টি দিয়ে দেখা যায় না, অপ্রাকৃত বস্তু নহে প্রাকৃত গোচর। The transcendental abode or transcendental reality cannot be perceived with the mundane eyes. Therefore, these holy dhams we have to see with our transcendental vision. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. Otherwise, what we are seeing is just the material covering. With our material eyes, we are simply seeing the material curtain that is covering the Dham. When our transcendental eyes will open, then we'll see Vrindavan, we'll see Navadvip. Okay? Okay, so we can have, yes?
Just a question in continuation to your answer. You have described that many devotees leave their body in different countries in very wonderful way. But we see some of the devotees in Dham only, they have left their bodies in a very terrible way.
What do you mean by terrible way?
Like Ahindra Prabhu.
Anyway, so as I said, like when one leaves one's body in the Dham, how he leaves his body doesn't matter. At least he has left his body in the Dham. There had been instances, people went to the Dham just for a visit, left his body. Real mercy, Krishna's mercy. So, we have to understand that leaving one's body in the Dham has its special benefit. We have also seen people live their whole life in the Dham, but at the time of death, they couldn't leave their body in the Dham. Anyway, so it's difficult to recognize or understand Krishna's wonderful manifestation.
When we are reading Chaitanya, there is some devotee, his names are called Buddhiman Khan and Satraj Khan. So does it belong to some special significance or
That belongs to?
does it belong to some special community or they are
Yeah, they all are Mahaprabhu's eternal associates.
they are Muslims?
No, they are Hindus. Buddhimanta Khan, they are Hindu Khans. The Khan is a title that some Hindus also had. Hare Krishna.